All right, everyone. So we are about to start. Just a few more seconds. All right. So we are good to start, guys. Let me share my screen. All right. So good morning, everyone, and good day to all who all are not in India. So let's just start this meeting. And we're going to discuss about why we need a firewalls. We'll try to understand the basic fundamental of the firewalls. We'll try to understand how firewall are going to work in any kind of the network infrastructure, network security infrastructure, if you want to secure a network. So we'll try to understand each and everything step by step, and we'll try to see how it is going to be like, filter the traffic based on the different kind of the package headers. Might be it is going to be your IP packets, your port numbers, your applications, your URLs, your content. It could be anything, and based on that, we'll see how it is going to be filter your packet. So basically, what is going to happen when we start the sessions? We have to understand a few things in very detail. That is the very first thing we have to understand. Like what is a firewall, right? I will explain what is a firewall. Second, I will explain that why we need a firewall, why need firewall, right? Third, we understand what there's a old firewall that is known as the packet filter firewall. So we'll try to understand what is the packet filter firewall. And also we'll try to understand the new firewall, that is a next gen firewall concept. And also we'll try to understand difference between the packet filter firewall and the next generation firewall. So we'll start with what is a firewall. This is the very first topic for today, and then we'll go down step by step for that similar concept. Okay, so let's explore. So when we go and explore what is a firewall, so firewall can be your software, can be your hardware. It could be anything. It could be your software, it can be your hardware. And the end goal means any traffic which is passing through your network that should be, protected. Means without your permissions, that traffic should not pass through your network. Think in this way. Uh, let's suppose this is my firewall. So anything coming from the LAN point of view, it's going to your WAN point of view. Every traffic, any transitions, means you're trying to access Facebook applications, you are trying to access the Google applications, you are trying to access Yahoo applications, could be anything. Even might be some users sitting on the internet, and in the LAN you have a server. He want to access your internal LAN. So your traffic is going out, traffic is coming in. So either your outbound traffic or inbound traffic. In both case, firewall is going to act as a intermediate device or man in middle who is responsible to perform a checks. And what checks they are going to perform? The checks is going to perform based on the your layer 2, that is a MAC address, your layer 3, that is the IP address, your layer 4, that is the port numbers, right? They are going to perform the layer 7, that is your applications. And in addition of that, they can perform the URL, they can perform the user ID. I will discuss what all this. They're going to filter your machine device ID, right? They're going to filter your actual content, means actual payload, means anything, any packet information you're passing through that. This all are going to be filtered by the firewall. And if firewall is having the right policy to allow, then only it is going to allow. Another analogy, let's understand how firewall is going to work. Let's suppose you have one of the building, right? Or you might be one of the office, and there is one entry gate. It could be your entry gate, or might be it is going to be your exit gate. The same gate is going to be there. So multiple employee or might be the owners are coming to access this building or offices. So there is a security guard. This security guard is always going to validate your identity. You are the right person to enter in this building or not. Even you are the not right person, but you want to enter in the building, so they will take confirmation with the respective authority or respective person. His person want to enter, and if he is going to be like say yes, he is a legitimate person, he is a right person, then he will going to allow you. In case of he is not legitimate person, not right person, he is going to simply deny you. So there two action is going to happen. Either it's going to be allow or it's going to block. Means allow is going to be pass your communication, block is going to deny your communication. So similar way, firewall also going to perform the same thing. There is a two action is going to happen. Either it's going to be allow or it's going to be deny for the outbound traffic, and also whether it's coming for the outbound inbound, it's going to be either allow and deny. And which method they're going to use to allow deny? Based on the your identity. Means what is your identity? Means person have their identity, or might be the after taking the confirmation, they're going to allow and deny. So this actions, whenever going to allow or deny, you have to create a policy. So we'll understand how the policy is going to be happen, how the policy is going to be created. But basic fundamental means any traffic going on the internet, any known person that is going to be allowed, any unknown person by default is going to block, or he have to prove the identity, then it is going to be allowed. And the key parameter on which the packet is going to filter, that is going layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and the layer 7 URL, and a lot of things are going to be happen. Now, if I try to understand, there's a key functionality to the firewalls. Then we have to understand why we need a firewall. So the problem, why we need a firewall, the problem, we have the multiple problem. It means the very first problem, like many people try to access your network by using the unauthorized access, right? So they will try to access your network with unauthorized access. That is the very first problem. There could be a malware attack. There could be a virus attack. So this is possible. You can have the virus attack, malware attack. There is a possible we can have the data leak, right? There is a possibility we have the vulnerability attack, right? There is a possible we can have the DOS or DDoS attack. There is a possibility we have the spyware activity. So we have the lot of thing, etc. So we have a lot of things which is going to be, damage your reputations by leaking the data. Let's suppose you're preparing some kind of the project and your data leak has been happened. So you're going to expose your company's strategy in front of the everyone. So they know like what you're planning, what is your next 6 month goals, 1 year goal, 3 months goal. And based on that, they're going to be, take some actions. They're going to take some actions, and that is going to actually make a loss of financial. Might be you're preparing one of the project to beat some a good project from the government, some other agency, but your competitor come to know about your all strategy, so they are going to also bid the same customer, same project, and might be you're going to lose the financial attack. Means financial you're going to be lost due to this particular data loss attack. Virus can be destroy your internal system. It's going to be slow down, right? Malware also going to be make impact your server system. Vulnerability attack going to be lock your server. Like ransomware is very famous one of the examples, and that also it is going to create a problem in terms of the losing the financial, because vulnerability attack is going to be there, which is going to lock your entire server and system, and they're going to ask the money. If you're not going to give the money, they are not going to be unlock your systems. DOS attack is usually to destroy your resources, like WAN circuit is going to be 100% utilized. So you cannot make any transitions. If you want to make any transitions, it's going to be very problem for you. You cannot do that. So to avoid such situations, the firewall is going to play a very vital role. And this firewall is going to make sure only the legitimate traffic, means house is not open to all. If you want to enter my house, you have to need a right key. And if you have the not right key, you cannot open my house. So it's going to act as a security guard which is going to make sure any unauthorized access, any malware, any virus, any data leak, any vulnerability, DOS attack, any unknown IP, any bad IP, blacklisted IP, those all are going to be filtered. And if it is the right traffic, then only it is going to be allowed. So everywhere in our any organizations, the organizations have the lot of devices. Means any office you can think about it, they have the lot of computers, lot of servers, right? They have the multiple users, and those are connected with the, let's say these all are the my server. Sorry, this is my server, server 2, server 3, server 4. These all are connected with my one of the switch. This is a switch, core switch, right? This is my user PC, PC1, right? PCB, C, D, E. These are all the user PC. Okay, just think about these are also PC connected here. Means they are the user machine. Now they want to access what kind of applications? They want to access servers, so they can access internally by sitting in the office. Let's suppose your data center or might be the hub location where the user are sitting, so they can access these servers by local LAN area network, means local area network. But the moment this user want to exit from this particular building, so there is two. If user want to exit, they will follow the physical gate. Means if you have any physical gate, means any exit entry point, from there they are going to be out or they are going to be in. Means security guard is definitely going to be there and they're going to be verify your identity. This is the physical security. But these users also going on the internet. Think about it. These users also going on the internet. Think about this is my internet cloud. This is my internet. So there is a one more router or firewall is available, which is connected with this switch. So my traffic coming from this user going via the internet. So this is known as the digital gate, right? So in digital gate, these users might be possible can leak your data. They can just leak your data. There is some hacker sitting on the internet who can do attack in your inside network, right? Means they can hack your servers, they can hack your printers, right? They can hack your WLC, they can hack your routers, they can hack your any kind of the other IoT devices. WL means any could be anything. So you must have to secure this digital gate as well. But router and switch is not enough to secure. Means if this is a router, this is a switch, these are the not enough device to secure a digital gate. It's not possible to secure a digital gate. So how you are going to secure that digital gate? So if you want to support your digital gate, that means you have to deploy something here, and that is known as the firewall. So anything coming from the internet, your firewall is going to verify, right? And after verifications, they are going to be either allow or deny. Even you are going to be out from your LAN to WAN network, right? Just think about this one. It's also going to be verify, and after verification, they are going to be either allow and deny. So this is the digital gatekeeper. And this digital gatekeeper is going to be always make sure what traffic you are accessing and what traffic you are trying to accessing. And if the policy is allowing, then only it is going to allow. If not allowing, it is not going to allow. Simple definition. So this is the role of the firewalls. That's why we need a firewall. So we understand what is a firewall and what is a Chandra, can you mute? You have an echo. So this is how you can please disconnect from one device. You join with two names, Chandra, and it's doing the echo. So this is how it is going to be, uh, make the firewall communications and make your life easy in terms of the all network security communications. Now, when we talk about the firewalls, these firewalls come in two format, means two frame, means there is a old firewall, that is a legacy firewall, means old generation firewall, that is known as a legacy firewall. And this is the one firewall, means I can just write here, legacy firewall. This firewall, legacy firewall, also known as the old generation firewall. So we have the one set of the firewall, another set of firewall, that is a new firewall, and this is next generation firewall. So we have to understand what is the old firewall and what is the new firewall and what is the difference between these two firewalls, right? So all right, so basically when we talk about the legacy firewall, old firewall, these firewalls are known as the packet filter firewall. So if you think about what is a packet filter firewall, so any old firewall, that is always known as the packet filter firewall. Any new firewall, that is always known as the next generation firewall. Beyond the packet, they are going to be check the communication. So if I talk about the packet filter firewalls, so these firewalls are going to work on the few layers. Means they can do the filter of the packet. Some case for the MAC address, that is going to be layer 2. Some case of the IP address, that is going to be layer 3. Some case of the port numbers, right? Ports, that is a layer 4. So if you're using the packet filter firewall, load generation firewall, so this is just going to check your source MAC. They're going to check your DMAC, and based on that, they're going to apply the action. They're going to check your source IP. You're going to check your destination IP, and based on that, they're going to apply some kind of the filtering. They're also going to check your source port number, destination port number, and based on that, it is going to apply. And also they are going to do the protection based on the protocol numbers as well. So some protocol number you want to filter that is also possible. So basically packet filter firewalls work on the till layer 4 only. Means if you talk about the OSI layer or TCP IP layer, means any old firewall, legacy firewall, they only work on the layer 4. Means if you want to block any kind of the Facebook applications, it is not possible. If you want to block any URL, it's not possible. If you want to block any FQDN, fully qualified domain, that's a part of the URL only, not possible. If you want to block any kind of the user ID, device ID, user ID or device ID, it is not possible. You want to block the content, right? Like you want to include the IPS, IDS engine. This all not possible. Means they have the very limited scope to filter the packets. Means kind of the basic checks they are going to do that, not advanced, but packet having a lot of informations. In any IP packet, if you go that IP packet, if you go, you are going to find a lot of information. So if I go here and try to, let me use some different color. If you go for the any IP packet, let me draw that one of the IP packet. So IP packets or any normal packets, we have the multiple informations. Means generally we have the source MAC, we have the destination MAC, right? We have the source IP, we have the destination IP, we have the source port, we have the destination port, we have the applications, right? We have the other field as well. I will explain that's a device ID, URL, blah, blah. So multiple things are also there, other informations. I'm putting as the other info. And then finally, packet have the payload. What is the payload? That is your actual data. What is actual data? Means kind of the any file you are sharing, video you are sharing. It could be you trying to share any kind of the chat, even you're writing a hi, that is your payload. So this information is basically your layer 2. This information is basically your layer 3. This information is basically your layer 4. This is your layer 7 information. This is some additional information, additional info. Okay. And that is actual data, actual payload, actual content. So if you're using the packet filter firewall, okay, so packet filter firewall can work till here only. Means if you work, then they can do the filtering based on the your layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4. They will never touch your layer 7, additional information and content by default. So that is the problem, because 99% attack nowadays, which is happening due to the payload, due to the URL website, means 99.9% means keep coming the phishing attacks from the different source, and you are not going to be like use that kind of the mechanism which is capable to filter those kind of attack. You are always going to be in trouble, and always your data is going to be compromised. Always you are going to be lose some important critical informations. Always might be your servers are going to be down, server are going to be compromised, your user laptop are going to be hacked. So that's why the requirement to build something new in the market, and where the actual born of the next generation firewall happened. And that's for the first firewall in the market. That was the Palo Alto Firewall. That's come as a new feature that is known as the NGFW feature. And in this NGFW features, they will do the advanced firewall capabilities with the deep inspection. Means advanced firewall capabilities with a deep inspection. That means they can understand a lot of things. They, in the next generation firewall, you are going to understand the layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 7, URL, user identity. You are going to understand about the SSL inspections, right? You are going to understand about the your content data, means anything inside your packet, anything inside your packet. If I talk about the key features of the NGFW, so any level of the inspections, means whatever you think available in my packets, it's HTTP packet, HTTPS packet, SSH packet, secure packet, any type of packet, means it is going to be give the more visibility, more filtering out your kind of the checks. Means deep packet inspection, IPS intrusion prevention is going to be there, IDS is going to be there, URL filtering is going to be there, everything. So in summary, if I talk about the packet filter firewall, so packet filter firewall is very layman language. So packet filter firewall, just think about it's a watchman. You just apply the watchman for your building security, right? So this watchman can have the limited access to check. Means might be he can sleep in night. So there is a threat is going to happen. But when we apply the NGFW firewall, right? NGFW firewall, next generation firewalls, right? This is going to be your watchman, definitely you can apply, but smart watchman, I can just put as a smart watchman or security. Plus, you're going to apply the CCTV, right? You're going to apply the AI based detections. So think this is the one piece of security. He can only do some basic check. You're only coming the entry exit gate. He can just verify. But a smart watchman or security systems can be validate multiple things, not only the you coming and taking the entry. No, might be he going to check your cars, inside of car, what you're carrying. You're going to validate your ID card with the some software, might be the any authenticators, any validations. They have the RFID and all. CCTVs also carry the your all footage, so that you are going to be under surveillance. Anything is happening around you or might be in society, they can easily capture. AI is going to detect suspicious activity. Might be you have the all valid document, but you have the some kind of the warning from the police. This person is not good. He's like kind of the theft. He's kind of the going to do the thefts, and he have the criminal records. So AI camera might be going to detect your face, and based on that they will recognize and give the alert. This person is suspicious and you should not allow in the society. So this is known as the NGFW firewall features. Means these were the just basic checks, but this is something advanced, very advanced. Means every corner of the packets is going to be checked. That is a very advanced check, right? Clear? So I hope it is clear. So we understand why firewall, what is a firewall, and how firewall is going to be protect. What is the packet filter firewall and what is the my NGFW firewall. Now, one more thing we have to understand when I explain about the packet filter firewall and that NGFW firewall. So you have to understand how they function that. So you see here, any packet coming in the your old firewalls, any packet is sending in the old firewall. So what is going to happen? Every time when the packet is going to head from the user to the firewall maintain the ACL, that is an access control policy. And every time packet is going to must hit to ACL, then it is going to the internet. When it's the very first time packet coming, it is hitting to ACL. Second time packet coming, it's hitting to the ACL. Third time packet coming, hitting to the ACLs. That is known as stateful firewall. This is the stateless firewall. That is a packet filter firewall, legacy firewall, old firewall, the same thing. Stateless firewall is the same meaning. Somebody is talking about what is a stateless firewall. So this is a stateless firewall function, packet filter firewall function. The old firewall functions means anytime packet is hitting, it is going to hit the ACLs, and after hitting the ACLs, they are going to the internet. Packet is coming, hitting the ACL, going to the internet. Packet coming, hitting the ACL, going to means even the 1,000 time packet is coming, 1,000 time it is going to hit the ACL and going to the internet. Simple. But when we talk about the stateful firewall, this is your old firewall feature. This is your new firewall or NGFW firewall feature. So anytime when the packet is coming from the new firewall, what is going to happen? My traffic is going to very first time come to the firewall, and they are going to maintain one of the ACLs here. ACL new name is going to be policy. Okay. So ACL brother is the policy. So very first time he want to access the internet, it will check the policy and it will go to the internet. This is the very first packet. Okay. But at the same time, it will create one of the cache table or session table. So when the next packet is going to come, it will not hit to the policy. It will refer to the cache, go to the internet. It will come to the cache, go to the internet. It will come to the cache, go to the internet. So further upcoming all packets are going to hit your state tables. And after hitting the state tables, they are going to the internet. So stateful firewall maintain the states to just process packet fastly. They are not going to hit always ACL, so make your processing high. No, it will just simply create the state tables after hitting very first time, and then it will process the packet step by step without any problem. So this is the stateful firewall, and this is the stateless firewall. Clear? This is the old firewall. This is the new firewall. So you can see in a stateless versus a stateful firewall, stateful versus stateless firewall. Stateless firewall work by treating each packet, that is stateless, individually and an isolated unit. However, stateful firewall work by maintaining the context about the active sessions, that is the state informations, to speed up the packet processing. So definitely stateless firewall is not using nowadays. Means you're not going to find any stateless firewall in the market. Even some customer having, they are just replacing. Like Cisco ASA is one of the big example for that. That all are basically using that, and they are replacing with the new firewall. But the stateful firewall is going to maintain the state. Their filtering is going to happen based on the flows, not packet, but that is the packet based filtering. But it is a flavors filtering. This is going to definitely memory CPU is going to be high because they have to do a lot of work, and this is have to do very less work. Security very low, security very high, connection unknown, connection known, and it's going to be fast because you have to do lower work. It's going to be a little bit slower, but it have to perform very high like capacity of work. So this is how it is going to be happen, right? And that is the difference between the stateful versus stateless firewall. So any questions guys still here before I move to the next sections?
Okay, sir, all good so far.
All good? You guys understand? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So now we have to understand, right? In the Palo Alto, right? How the history is going to look like. So let me stop this recording. I'll start it again. So we have the basic understanding about the firewalls. Now let's talk about the vendors available in the market for the firewalls. So in market, if you're going to purchase the firewall, like say, every firewall is available in the market. Every firewall is available in the market having a similar feature. Think about the mobile phone, right? Basically, we known as the smartphones. Smartphones, you go and purchase for the Nokia. Nokia also giving that. You can purchase the Google Pixels as well, right? You're going to purchase like Samsung as well, right? You're going to purchase iPhone as well, Apple, right? Apple iPhone. You can just purchase like any MI phones, lot of any kind of Vivo phone. These all are the smartphones, right? But the most famous phones available in the market, most famous, most costly, is going to be your iPhones. Most people love the iPhone. It's going to be very costly. The cost is high. Samsung cost was also going to be high. They are very costly phone. But iPhone is the one of the premium phone. Everyone have a dream to have an iPhone. Why? They have the better security, better reliability, and better hardware. Means once you purchase the iPhones, your mental peace is going to be always there because these phones are not going to be hanged, not going to be hacked. The security is very, top top notch, right? So these all are the phone. Means from these all phones, you can like giving the feature like you have the camera, you can you can make the video, you can make the multitasking, you can play the games, you can join the teams, join the Zooms, everything you can do that from the all phone. All are the like phones, and you can do everything: voice calling, messaging, WhatsApp chat, whatever you want to do that. It's absolutely fine. You can do that. But what matter most? The matter most, their durability, their reliability, their product stability, right? And accordingly, they have the brand value, and people love to work with those brands who have the better market capture, better market visibility, and the better products. But they all are the smartphones. Similarly, in the market, if you go and search 𝗔𝗶𝗵 firewall, right? Next generation firewall, 𝗔𝗶𝗵 firewall is the next generation firewall. We are going to find a multiple vendor. Like you can just go and find Cisco, Firepower, right? This is a like one of the firewall, Cisco Firepower. You can just go, you can just put a short name here, like sorry, 𝗔𝗶𝗵. You're going to find Cisco FTT, basically FTT. You're going to find like FortiGate, right? You're going to find like Checkpoint as well. Right? You're going to find like Sophos as well. You're going to find like Palo Alto as well. You're going to find as a Sonic Wall also available in the market. Sonic firewalls, right? A lot of vendors available in the market. You go and search, there are a lot of vendors available in the market. Even Azure Cloud Firewalls, AWS Cloud Firewalls, Juniper Firewall, Juniper SRX is there. So multiple firewall, Barracuda Firewalls is there. But these all are come under next generation firewall. They all can do all feature. Means these firewalls can do the inspection of the layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, right? And plus all additional like layer 7. You can think about the URL, AD integrations. They can think about the content. They can think about the SSL inspection. Everything they can do that. But still, why Palo Alto, FortiGate, Checkpoint are popular in the market, leader in the market? Like what I mentioned in the phones, right? Similar, they have the very good reputations, right? They have the always very good reputation in the market. Since beginning, they have the very good reputation in the market. And nowadays, every global customers, they opt these firewalls because of their reputation, their product value, their what I can say, their stability of the product. So you can see, even I go and explain the Gartner report, you are going to find that, let's see, these are the vendors available in the market, but these vendors are leaders in the market. Why they are leader? They have the uniqueness. Means their product are very stable, means everything is good here. So out of these three products, Palo Alto is kind of the iPhone in the market. Means these are the firewall vendor, but think about the Palo Alto is the iPhone of the market. Means like as a phone, I given the analogy and examples. This Palo Alto is iPhone of the network security market. Their product is very stable. The configuration, support, documentations, learning materials, everything is very nice. So definitely, if you have the very nice product, then definitely you are going to be always available in the market, and there is a high demand in the market. So that's why Palo Alto become very much popular, and these vendors, other vendors like FortiGate, Checkpoint also very much popular because leader in the market. But Palo Alto and FortiGate leading because they have the lower cost in the market. The Palo Alto is quite costly in compared to the FortiGate, but it still is a very good product. So if once you install this firewall, your network is going to be very stabilized. Firewall is not going to be hang, right? And they're going to serve your all network security requirement. Clear? So this is how your Palo Alto come in the pictures, and Palo Alto having the lot of demand in the market. Now, if I talk about the product portfolio of the Palo Alto, this Palo Alto product portfolio is like they come as a Strata PA series. They have the Prisma Access. They have the Cortex XDR. So we are going to target about the Strata PA series firewall. What is Strata PA series firewall? That means you are going to learn about the virtual firewall and the physical firewall. So I'll explain what is the virtual firewall and what is the physical firewall as well in today's sessions after this slide. So you are going to understand about the networking, user ID, content ID, device ID, everything. But Prisma Access is another product where you have to learn about the 𝗓𝗓. Means again in 𝗓𝗓 we have the firewalls. We have the again firewalls, web security, web gateways, right? And also we have the zero trust network, GTNA concept. They have the cloud access like cloud into security platform, Prisma Cloud. They have SD-WAN. So if you want to learn about the advanced concept of the Palo Alto, you have to learn about the 𝗓𝗓, where you have to understand the zero trust concept. You're going to understand the firewalls as a service. Means the same firewall going to be used there. So the very first step, you should know about the firewalls. Second step, you can go and learn about other things. Then you can understand about the cloud native security platform. Then you can learn about the SD-WAN. So that is the second step. We are in the very first step at this moment. Then this is the tool, that is the Cortex XDR tool. This is just for the deep visibility troubleshooting. So even this having the very good demand in the market for the Palo Alto, if you know that tools, that you are going to be hire very quickly. So that if you want to learn about a tool, how to manage and detect any kind of incident is happening due to any kind of vulnerability threats, how endpoint protection is going to happen, how we can do the security orchestrations, automations by using this particular tool, how we can just manage the attack surface, and also cyber security services like data breach response, how we can manage that. So those are going to part of the Cortex XDR. And this is the Strata PA series we are going to cover. All right. Now, if I talk about the history of the Palo Alto firewall, this is the yes, Ernest.
Another question, I wanted you to clarify the panorama. Is it a special kind of physical firewall, or
Yes.
it is one of the software firewalls?
Yeah, that's a panorama. Is basically it's not a firewall, right? Panorama is not a firewall, right? It's a management server. Management server for centralized management. Means anything you want to do the centralized management, you can manage thousands of firewall by sitting on the panorama. So it's not a firewall. This panorama can be your physical box or can be VM box as well. So both possible. You can purchase, means there is a, I will show you when I cover the panorama. There is a module, I will cover the panorama as well. So I will explain what are the models available in the physical, in the panorama. But this can be physical, this can be virtual, but this is not a firewall. This is the management server. Means what is the management server? Means let's suppose I deploy one of the panorama and I have the multiple firewalls. Let's suppose thousands firewalls. So if I want to create the policy from the each and individual firewalls, so I need to log in each and every firewalls to create the policy. But once I deploy the panorama, these firewalls are going to manage through the panorama. Means if you want to do troubleshooting, do configurations, do any kind of the testing, logs capturing, IOS upgradations, downgradations, you just log into the panorama, right? And after login to the panorama, right, you can just do all things. Clear? But the actual filtering is going to happen through the firewalls, not the panorama. Panorama is just management server, central management tool. Clear, Ernest?
Yes, understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we'll discuss in more detail later on. All right, so guys, this is what we are going to cover. Now, the history of the Palo Alto Firewall. This is the American-based company, right? And it was founded in 2005. And the Palo Alto founder, basically 𝗔𝗰𝘁𝗃, is the former engineer of the Checkpoint. So he was the co-founder of the Checkpoint in earlier, and he separated himself from the Checkpoint, and he built one of the company that is a Palo Alto company. And that is the very first firewall he built it in the 2005 after founding this company. And that is the Palo Alto Next Generation Firewall. And then after it's become the game changer in the market. And it's become so much popular in the market. Means everyone love to work on these firewalls. So it's the headquarter of this particular Palo Alto firewall is the Santa Carla, California, right? So across the globe, they have the offices, branches, customers, partners, right? They have a lot of things because that's a very good firewalls available in the market. So they have the very good reputation in the market. So if I talk about the firewalls, so as I mentioned that the firewall is going to be your physical firewalls or can be your virtual firewalls. So first, let's talk about the physical firewall. Physical firewall. And now we have the virtual firewall. So what is the physical firewall? Physical firewall, that means you need to purchase the box. Means any box you need to purchase, like you go and Palo Alto and say, I want to purchase your firewalls. This firewall can be very small firewall, PA Palo Alto 220, right? You might be go and purchase the Palo Alto, might be 1420, right? You go and purchase like Palo Alto 450, right? You go and purchase Palo Alto 820, right? You can go and borrow Palo Alto 5000 series firewalls. There are a lot of, and also Palo Alto 7000 series. It is the highest level of the firewall series available in the market. So starting from this series, going via this, and you can purchase the very highest level firewall. So they will give the hardware, right? Hardware, physical hardware, and you need to deploy your hardware at the branch location or data center. So you have to install this hardware in the rack. Firewall is going to install in the rack. They have the multiple ports. You can connect the WAN connectivity. You can connect the LAN connectivity. And you can start using that firewalls. Means any traffic coming from LAN going to the WAN, they are going to start filtering your traffic and they are going to take an action on that. So this is how your physical firewall is going to work. But you need to purchase this box. This is going to be costly. The actual shipment is going to happen. That is going to deliver your location. And based on that, it is going to be installed. But when you talk with the virtual firewall, there is no hardware available in the market. So how this virtual firewall is going to run means they will sell the OS version. That OS is known as the PAN OS. Okay, PAN OS. This PAN OS also integrated in this box as well. Means you are going to purchase the PAN OS is going to be this operating system. This is also going to be use the PAN OS. So they will give the PAN OS and they also give the license. Here also they will give the hardware, PAN OS and the license. Without license, it is not going to work. When you purchase by default license, you have to take to use those features. So only you have the PAN OS and you have the license, but you save the cost of the hardware. So where you can deploy the virtual firewall? Virtual firewall can be deployed in two methods. One is your private data center. That's also known as the private cloud. And that is the another is the public cloud. What is the public cloud? That could be your Azure, could be your AWS, could be your GCP, could be your Alibaba. So these are the different deployment method we have. Means virtual firewall, you can deploy in the private data center. But how this virtual device is going to deploy, how we can connect the LAN and WAN in case of the virtual firewalls. So let's take first example for the private data centers or private cloud. You need to purchase one of the servers. Okay, might be because you need a hardware. So you go and purchase the server. It could be your Dell server. It could be your HP server, could be the Cisco server. In that server, we have the very high capability RAM, CPU, processor, could be anything. And you have to take a small space. And that space, you have to make a virtual machine. Let's think what is a VM. And inside of this VM, you have to deploy the Palo Alto Firewall. I'm going to show you how it is going to deploy. So you have to put the PAN OS here. And this PAN OS is going to deploy and it will start running. And if you want to connect the LAN and WAN, let's suppose you want to connect the WAN. So there is the NIC card available in the physical box, and you have to connect the cable with your WAN. If you want to go in the LAN, another NIC card is going to be there and it's going to be connected to the LAN. And you have to do the virtual networking inside of the server, which is going to make the connectivity between the VLANs for the LAN and WAN connections. So again, in the case of the private data center, you require your physical server, private cloud, even you want deploying. And on that particular physical server, you have to deploy the PAN OS, and that is going to make the connectivity. Is it clear, everyone? This deployment? I believe everyone.
Yes, Pankaj sir. Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is how it is going to happen. Now, the next process, if I'm going to deploy in the cloud. So cloud is again like big data center. Cloud is nothing. It's a big data center, big hardware. Means you are going to find millions of billions of traffic is going to process by the Amazon and AWS, and they have the terabyte, multi-terabyte, 1,000 TB storage, and billions of terabyte they have might be the packets. I don't know, means they have the unlimited capacity because they can be hyperscales at any point. So you are going to make a VM again in their cloud infrastructure based on the you take a 8 GB RAM, right? Again, it will take from the physical. You might be going to get the 10 CPUs, right? 100 GB SSD. Based on that, you're going to deploy the VM firewall here. And that VM firewall again going to make the virtual networking for the WAN connections and LAN connections, and it's going to be served. So the process is same, means you require the hardware resource, but you require that hardware resource from the either private cloud, private data centers, you need to buy a server, or the cloud providers, you have to take rental based space in the cloud, and then you can deploy and you can make the connectivity for the LAN and WAN. That's it. That is how firewall can be deployed. There's a physical and virtual. So if I show you the physical firewall, let me show you the physical firewall, how it is going to look like. Same. This is the one of the physical firewall of the Palo Alto. Means you can see in this physical firewall, we have the multiple ports. We have the ports like Ethernet port is a 820 real firewall. Even we have this firewall available with us, licensed firewall, which generally I give the training sometime to just give the console access and all. So this same firewall, this ports can be used for the LAN and WAN connections. And this is a fiber ports, right? This fiber ports can be used for the any kind of the high speed connectivity. This is the HA ports, means these all ports you see in front of me. These ports are going to be used for the either LAN connections or could be your WAN connections. These are going to be only 1 gig port, and this is going to be more than 1 gig. It's going to be support up to 10 gig ports. That's why these ports also, right? These are going to be all LAN and WAN. But these are the high speed fiber ports. When I talk about these ports are basically your HA port, high availability port. So we'll discuss what is the HA. So if you want to make the cluster of 2 firewall, you have to connect the cable on the HA1 and HA2 via the 𝗂𝗫 cable. So they are going to make the HA cluster, right? This is my management port. Means if you want to take the GUI access of the firewall, you have to log into the management port. And by, let's suppose this is one PC connected here. This PC want to connect these firewalls via GUI. So you have to log in via the management default type. Let's suppose the brand new firewalls, you have the 192.168.1.1. This IP, from there you have to log in and take the GUI access. If you want to take the console access, You can just connect the console cable from the PC. This is the console cable, and from there take the console access. So GUI via the management, even we can change the default IP address. I will show you how it is going to happen. Probably tomorrow we'll see, or might be the later, because we have to understand some more theory. So I will explain how to change the IP and all, how to take the management access. But this is the console port is going to use to console connectivity. This is a USB port. This USB port is going to use to just you want to copy license, transfer files, take some kind of the logs from the firewall. This USB port is going to use. This is another console port. If you want to take the console from the what I can say, C type port or B type port, I think it's a B type port. It is going to support it. You can take the consoles from there as well. So there are different ports, and there are the LED status. Means these LEDs can be either red, it's going to be amber, and it's going to be green. It's red, that means something is unstable. The firewall is not doing well. There is something issue in the firewalls. You have to take immediate actions. It's going to be green, that means everything is good. You don't have to take any actions. Firewall running healthy. It's going to be amber, that means there is some kind of the warning and you have to take some action. So this is how amber is going to be there. They are the fans, which is going to make the cooling down of the firewalls. So in front, you can see this kind of the firewall ports and all. I will explain these all things. I will show you how it is going to make the connectivity and all in the later on. But this is how it is going to be make the connection for the LAN and WAN, HA port, management port, console port, USB port. It's a very high level. This is physical, right? But if we talk the virtual firewall deployment, so how virtual firewall can be deployed? You can go here. Let's suppose this is a private cloud. We have the ESXi. So you have to deploy the firewall here. Let me show you. If I want to log in the virtual firewalls, I want to deploy. You can see this is my one of the firewall, Palo Alto deployed here. And let me show you this Palo Alto. Actually, this deploy in the virtual. So let me log in again. This is a virtual firewall. So PAN OS, basically we show system info 31. So I can log in this firewall here, HTTPS. I can go here, admin. See, when I log in, you never realize a physical firewall or virtual firewall. You're never going to realize. Unless or until you're going to see the host name or the model of the firewall. You're never going to realize a virtual firewall or physical firewall. See, this is going to show it's a PAVM. Means this firewall is a virtual firewall. And you can see this virtual mode is a VMware ESXi. It's not the physical firewall. If there is a physical firewall, you're going to find the model number here itself. So this is going to give that indication. The firewall you're logging right now, it's a virtual firewall. But even I'm logging to the physical firewall, my 100% interface is going to be same. Not a single percent is going to be changed. 100% exact replica. So you're never going to realize what configuration I'm doing in the virtual firewall. Is it going to be some different in the virtual or physical firewall? No, nothing. 100% same means 100% same. Only you're going to find in terms of the virtual name means VM detail here, and there are some kind of the model detail available. So this virtual firewall, you have to create the virtual machine here. So you can see in this particular things, we have the virtual machine. You have to register the virtual machine here. And after that, like I want to deploy the Palo Alto firewall. So you have to get your image. So we have to define the image. Right now, there's no image. So you have to drag and drop the image, and you just go and click the next. It will just deploy the 𝗬VA file. And once this is going to be ready, it is going to look like in this way. So you can see in this virtual machine, we have a lot of things. We have Cisco router, we have the checkpoints, firewalls, checkpoint SMS, we have a DHCP router, Cisco ICE deploy, SD-WAN deploy, Putty manager deploy, next gen firewall labs deploy, trainer labs deploy. So a lot of things available in this our scenario. But this is my Palo Alto firewall, which is basically we use for the testing, some kind of the configurations, everything. But this is a virtual firewall which deploy in the virtual environment. Clear? So clear to everyone? Different between virtual firewall and physical firewall?
Yeah, Pankaj.
Yes.
I hope it's very much clear and no doubt till now anyone have. Okay. Now, if I talk about, let's suppose you want to deploy any new firewall. Any new firewall you want to deploy. Let's suppose this is what I was trying to discuss. It's any new firewall. It's a virtual firewall, physical, in regard of what you have. Very first thing, when you go for deployment, what you need? Either you need the console access of the firewall, or you need the GUI access of the firewall. For
Correct.
day zero operations, only two things: day zero config, day zero operations. Only two things available with you. No third way to do the configuration. Means you need to take console or GUI access. So generally, if we have the virtual firewall, how we can take the console? There is no console port, right? Virtual firewall doesn't come with the console ports. Make sense, guys? So
Right,
in
sir.
that case, we use the virtual console. Virtual console. There is a feature that is a virtual console. So you can see the firewall I'm trying to open via this one. This is the virtual console. Okay, this is the virtual console. Even I am going on this particular firewall. I'm opening this. This is the virtual console. So even you're using the any cloud provider firewall, any kind of data center firewall, if you don't have the physical firewall, so how you can take the console? Just click on the device, you're going to get the virtual console. So this is my virtual console. Somehow I need to restart. Its console has been stopped. GUI is working, but console is not working. So, okay, I lose the communication of this one as well. So let me start it, stop it. Sorry. Let me start it. So you click on it, you're going to get the virtual console. See, this is your virtual console. So any virtual firewall, you want to take the console, you have to just click any environment, even in the cloud, you just click on the cloud. Even you are the 𝗂𝗁𝗂, just click on the 𝗂𝗁𝗂, you'll get the virtual console. You can start with the configuration. You go in the configuration and you start doing the configuration, what you want to do that. You can just run the command. But in case of physical firewall, you have to connect the cables. That cable is going to connect, and this virtual console is going to give the only CLI access. CLI based configuration. You cannot do the GUI access configuration. So you have to connect the one of the cable to your PC, and this is known as the console cable. And by using that console cable, you're going to get a CLI access by using the PuTTY, secure CRT, whatever you can think that, and you can start doing the configuration. That is known as your physical console. Now, talk about the GUI access. If you want to take the GUI access of the firewall, GUI access of the firewall, graphical user interface, in that case, you cannot take from the console based GUI access, even for the virtual or physical. You have to connect the cable. In case of the physical, you have to connect the cable. So this is your PC. This PC want to take the console access, then you have to connect the cable, that is a RJ45 cable here. And this RJ45 cable is going to make the connectivity. And by default, you are going to get one of the IP address, that is a 192.168, right? 1.1. That is going to be one IP address by default. Whenever you're going to purchase a new firewall, this IP address 192.168.1.1 is always going to be there. 192.168.1.1. So you have to assign your PC also the same series of IP address, like 192.168.1.2. So they are in the same subnet. So you can ping this particular firewall. If you ping, you can just go in the browser and type HTTPS : and give the firewall IP address. The moment you will do that, you will get the GUI of the firewall. The simple method you can do in this way. Similar way, if you're in the virtual firewall, right? Virtual firewall also you have to define the management interface IP address, or might be the new firewall. You're going to find the, you can just check show interface management. So you can see this management interface have the IP address. You can just focus on this one having this IP address. So this management interface you need to connect. The management interface need to connect with the virtual networking with your any virtual PC or physical PC. Could be anything. Physical PC is not possible, but might be you can extend the VLAN on the switch and then switch having your PC connected. That is possible. If there is no switch, then you have to extend from this management interface to the virtual wire, means virtual connections to your virtual PC. Like this is my virtual PC. You can see. So if I want to take the management, I can take it from the browser, but I want to take from this PC, it is possible. This is a window PC. You can see this window PC is a virtual PC. So even from there, I want to take the management access, I can do that. Or I'm in the LAN network. So my direct PC is also talking to the particular LAN network. So I can take the access, that management interface, and this is what I have just log in it. This is what I log in it. And based on that, we can make the communications. So I will show you step-by-step process, how this virtual firewall and physical firewall is going to be login, how we can take the access console and GUI, and how we can start performing the day zero operations in upcoming classes. But yes, we understand today about the packet filter firewall, why we need a firewall, next generation firewall. We try to explore about the different firewall models, how next generation firewall is going to give the advanced feature in compared to the packet filtering firewalls, and some additional hardware firewall versus virtual firewalls. So if anyone have any questions, I'll give some time to ask your questions. So I'll take your question for today because
Hi, Pankaj sir.
Yes,
Afan this
Afan.
side.
Yes, Afan.
So I just want to know, I mean, if I take the cost out of the picture, so why we use virtual firewalls instead of physical firewalls, and what are the benefits of using that?
So the first benefits of on, right? If you're going for the virtual firewalls, right? The cost, you have the hardware cost. If you're going to use the physical firewalls, it is going to always require the hardwares. But let's suppose this hardware is coming as a 5,000 US dollar. Just take an example, or might be the 10,000 US dollar, this hardware. Instead of that purchasing the hardwares, you go and purchase one of the servers with the same price. And that server is going to host 5 or 10 firewall like that. So that is going to save your cost. That is a one thing. Means you don't have to manage multiple devices. Let's suppose you have the one of the branch location and you want to router, you want to switch, you want to firewalls. So if you go and purchase all devices, that is going to be, cost very high for you. And in addition of the cost, you also have to give the electricity, power supply, rack rental, if you're just putting in somewhere. So if you're purchasing the virtual firewall, the hardware cost is going to eliminate, and with the same hardware cost, you're going to purchase one of the big hardware, and that hardware you can store your router, switches, firewall, load balancers. So this is the one feature we can use. Another features, if you are deploying your any services on the private cloud and the public cloud, they not support and not allowed to put the hardwares. So how you are going to secure your network? Think about it. So in that scenario, you must have to use the virtual firewall. That is the only option available. So that virtual firewall is going to apply. So one is a cost saving, another is the mandatory in case of the private public, because this is the future. Every company using that, cloud-based solutions.
Is there
Makes sense?
any processing, I mean, difference between the processing power of the two?
No, there is no.
Considering-
Even you can make your virtual firewall more powerful than the physical firewall. Physical hardware having a capacity, right? You cannot scale. Let's suppose physical, your phone is designed for the 16 GB RAM. Can you upgrade your phone to the 32 GB RAM? No, you cannot upgrade.
No.
Laptop you can do that, but phone cannot do that, right?
Correct.
So firewall come with the decided hardware specifications. They have the specific RAM, they have the slots, CPU and all. Let's suppose today you have using this firewall, which is capable to carry the traffic of thousands user. But tomorrow your office have the 2,000 user. This firewall is going to be useless for you. But in case you have the virtual firewall, then you can buy a new server and you can just upgrade the memory and RAM, or might be you can just put the more memory RAM in the existing server, so they can just scale up your all requirement. So in the virtual, you can scale at per the endless, whatever you want. The big data center you have, you can scale up to whatever you can think. Just you have to take a license, nothing more than that.
Okay.
So
Okay. One more question. I mean, if in case that hardware becomes faulty, then we can reach out to the tech team of the Palo Alto. So in the case of this virtual machine, I mean, then whom to reach if we are facing an issue? I mean, it would be the hardware of the company which we are using, that we have to reach out to in case of any issues.
That's a good question. So yes, definitely. In case of the hardware, your PAN OS and hardware both belong to the Palo Alto. So you have to raise a tag case and definitely they will help you. Now, in case of the virtual firewall, If your pan OS is running and it's not working, let's suppose having some bug, having some kind of issue, traffic is not filtering correctly, so you definitely attack is going to be there. But your pan OS is not booting up on their hardware. Think about it in the cloud. Then it's not a Palo Alto problem, right? They will guide you, but it's required your internal infrastructure team who manage your hardware. Why this particular pan OS is not booting up? Only once it is going to boot, that means every problem is going to be fixed. Now another problem could be, might be my CPU is getting high. CPU is getting high for certain region. So if your Palo Alto box is there, then Palo Alto is going to suggest why your CPU is going to be high. And they will suggest like you have to upgrade your hardware. But in case of the CPU is getting high in the virtual environment, they can give the idea why your CPU is going to high, but they cannot upgrade your hardwares. You have to talk your hardware team who can just upgrade your RAM, memory, and the hard drive. So you always have a dependency on the two party in that case.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Arfan. Good questions. Yes, Ernest, go ahead and ask a
Yes.
question.
My question has to do with the setup, the topology. So in the case where you have your physical firewall, you have your switch, and then you have your server, let's say a Dell server. Where are you going to?
Let me draw your topology.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 second. So you're talking about we have one firewall.
Firewall, yeah.
Yeah, then
Switch.
okay.
And then you have your server.
Okay.
Okay, so where are we going to connect the management port on the firewall?
Okay, that's a good question. So
in order to get access to the GUI.
okay, that's good. So see, these firewalls having the multiple ports. Okay, you can see here in this firewall we have the multiple ports. So for the LAN connectivity, definitely for the LAN connectivity, you have to use some other port, like you're going to use the ETH0x1. This for the WAN connectivity, it's going to be ETH0x0. So definitely this is going to be your one zone, that is your trust or untrust, could be anything. This is going to be your untrust. This is not untrust, but this is going to be untrust. So this is your pure LAN and WAN communication, but you want to take the management of this particular network. So this port going to be stay in the different VLAN, might be the VLAN 100. But you want to take the management of this PC with this firewall, and this is the management PC. This is your management MGMT PC. So this PC you need to put in the VLAN 10. And you have to make one more connections from here, from the management port. You have to take one of the cable here. And this port is known as the management port. If you want to take locally from the LAN, okay, so you have to connect the cable and this port in the VLAN 10. So these two are the part of the VLAN 10. So let's suppose there is an IP address 192.168.1.1, and here you give the same subnet IP address like 192.168.1.2. So they are the same VLAN. Can I ping from here to here, Ernest?
Yes.
So if I able to ping, then I can just go here and put the HTTPS, and I can just give the 192.168.1.1 in the browser, and it will give the GUI access. That's all. Simple topology. But if you want to take the from remote, let's suppose you are in the remote location. You are in the, let's suppose this firewall is your California, you are in Dallas. So this management subnet should be reachable over the ISP to your these locations. Then you have to do the routing steps here. You have to allow the routing for this management subnet, and then you can just ping, and then you can go here the browser and you can just log in this network. That is for remote. So you have to do routing in the WAN. But LAN, you just have to play with the different VLAN, different connectivity, so you can just make the connections. I hope it's clarify your questions. Okay?
Very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pankaj sir, I have a question, Chandar here.
Yes, Chandar.
So the technical points which you have explained, we grasp it very well. Thank you so much for explaining. So sir,
You're
like
welcome.
theoretically, like I'm planning to give the exam also after this training. So sir, theoretically, do we have any book material or
Yes.
something like that where we
I
can
will
study?
I will share the official PanOS book. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just think. This is a 9.0, okay, official book. I will share the 10.0 as well. So you will get this book. So this book I refer for the all learning. So everything I just cover during the sessions, I try to refer most of the things from this book. So you
Okay,
guys
sir.
have to refer this book. Everything is very well written in this book. So you guys will get the all books informations.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
You just go with that. It will be helpful for your preparations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Shindar, Bitu, Subhita. Yes. Yes.
Pankaj sir, just one more question from my side. Actually, I forgot to ask earlier.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. You mentioned in that stateful and stateless comparison that there is stateful worked on the flow-based that firewall. Okay, so can you explain a bit? I mean, what do you mean by flow? I mean, by packet
Okay.
we understand. Would you just need a bit more clarification on the flow? How to explain that?
Okay, that's a good question. So see, flow means one of the TCP stream. Let's suppose you making any communication for any website, right? So they are going to make a TCP flow stream. So one flow, they have a certain type of the data packets, including the headers and as well. So instead of that particular individual packet, they inspect entire flow, means one flow of the communication to access the website. Let's suppose you're trying to uh, pass the information. Let's suppose you have the multiple cars, right? In one group of cars, you have means one group have the 10 cars or 20 cars, and you want to do security checks. So instead of the individual checking all car one by one, what you do, you just send 10 cars and just do the security check, and then you pass them. Again, you come to 10 car again, then you can do the security check, then you can just do that, check again for that particular inspection. Similarly, in case of the flow base, right, you are sending the flow of the traffic, means one of the system means sending the one of the TCP stream flow for any destination. So that is going to be data packet is going to be inspect per flow which is going to be processed to the any kind of destination. So in terms of the flow means entire TCP stream which have the multiple informations, headers and the packet side, that is all is going to be inspected, but packet is individual packet per packet is going to be inspected. So if you compare here, let me go and try to give that a little bit more insight. Packet-based filtering, you're going to understand, versus flow-based filtering. In firewall. So see, packet-based filtering, stateless. As I mentioned, that means each packet is going to act as every packet is going to check, and based on that, they're going to do that. The flow is going to contain multiple informations. Packet is just basic information, IP, MAC address, and all. But flow is going to be stateful inspection with the application aware. Means they have the data, they have the SSL inspection, they have the TLS inspection, they have the IP packet. So entire connection context means payload and your applications, everything is going to be, means flow is containing the multiple information. The packet is containing they're just header informations. You got it, Alfan? Meaning.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
So the flow is going to contain each and everything. Means the packet have the multiple information. 10 car having the multiple information, not only the IP packets and the port number. Flow is going to be data, payload, everything is going to be there. So those all are going to be inspect. Means you can see here, it's the packet is header only, that is IP address and the port number, but the flow base is going to payload and context, everything is going to be happen. Full inspection is going to happen, even the URL, your TLS inspection, everything is going to be inspected by the firewall. It's going to be a little bit slower, but it's very advanced. So flow means entire payload, entire your packet, entire your data, means combination of the everything is going to be inspected as a per flow stream. That a TCP stream is going to happen, that's per flow stream is going to be inspected. But packet is just for your headers informations.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Anyone have? Sudipta, you have anything? Bitru? All right, guys. So thank you so much for today's session. And let's just tomorrow. And tomorrow, same time, we'll start the session. So please join another time. We can continue from here. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.